Welcome to the Mouse Scoop, or as we like to call ourselves, Mickey's Inner Circle. It is going on day 17 of the coronavirus quarantine, and we are trying to be as uplifting as humanly possible. So Disney has announced the acquisition of even more property. Going back 13 months from now, Disney has acquired a grand total of roughly $39 million worth of new acreage around the Walt Disney World Resort. So if you go back the last 13 months, Disney has spent $39 million to acquire roughly 2.7 thousand acres worth of Walt Disney World, 2,700 acres, and they just spent another $1 million to acquire a new 26 acres of land. Now, let me pull up a map here of Walt Disney World as we know it today and show you roughly where that new acreage is going, and then we can dive into what it could be going towards. So this is what Walt Disney World looks like today. Essentially, you have Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom, Epcot, Magic Kingdom, along with the couple water parks, Blizzard Beach, Typhoon Lagoon, and Disney Springs. Now, where Walt Disney World has purchased over the past 13 months, the land they have purchased is essentially up in this white area in the top left-hand corner of the screen. So, that is where Disney has bought its land over the past 13 months. Now, what is that being used for? Well, we don't necessarily know, and there's high speculation. Now, I do want to express my opinion on it a little bit because I kind of want to, at least for right now, put to bed some of the rumors of potentially a fifth park. Hollywood Studios in the past two and a half years has undergone major renovations. If you would have visited Hollywood Studios 2 years ago, you could have finished the park in roughly half a day. Now it takes you more than an entire day in order to finish the park with the addition of Toy Story Land and Galaxy's Edge. They have put major renovations into Hollywood Studios, and it took them a long period of time in order to complete those renovations. And now Disney has sacrificed more of its time, more of its money, and more of its labor into other parks as well. Right now, Epcot is undergoing the biggest refurbishment project in Walt Disney World history. Right now, if you walk into Epcot, it is essentially the same thing as Hollywood Studios was 2 years ago. There is much going on at Epcot, and especially right now with the coronavirus, Walt Disney has laid off some of its construction workers and put its construction on halt. And then also on the other side of that at Magic Kingdom, with the addition of the Tron roller coaster and many construction projects going on and coming in the future for Tomorrowland, mixed with the castle. The castle is undergoing a major renovation right now. Disney has so much construction going on that we can't see a fifth park being a possibility with everything that they are dedicating to the prior 4 parks right now. Bottom is the map of current Walt Disney World Resort property. So at the top there you can see the castle, which is Magic Kingdom. Down at the very bottom is Hollywood Studios. The Epcot ball is right in the middle, and on the far left you see Animal Kingdom. Now, the reason I have this pulled up is because it's easier to show direct relation to this map with the top map. Now, the top map is where Disney has purchased its land. So, if you look on the far right of the top map, the far right on that top map, over on the far right you can see right where I'm hovering across here, this little pink, what's cut off, it says Grand Floridian. The Grand Floridian Hotel. Now let's go down to the bottom where I am hovering over right now. The Grand Floridian is that big structure with the red rooftops. So that puts that in kind of a good context, because we can see on the top map where the Grand Floridian is, and then all of this is still Walt Disney World property, where it says the Magnolia Golf Course and the Oak Trail Golf Course. We got to remember that is still Walt Disney World property, and it's represented on the map down below. All of this greenery right here that I'm hovering over right now, that is those golf courses, and that is included in Walt Disney World property. Now, what isn't included in Walt Disney World property is this white space over here, and you can even see on the left-hand side Walt Disney World vacant conservation parcel. That is part of the property that has been purchased over the past 13 months. And this property up here, which is squared in where it says Lake Reedy LLC, that is the acreage that was just purchased by Walt Disney World. This is just the facts of what Walt Disney World looks like right now, and then speculation of where it could go in the future. As of 2010, Walt Disney World was comprised of 25,000 acres of land. To put that in perspective, that is the size of the city of San Francisco. It is double the size of Manhattan in New York City. So to put that in perspective, that is what 25,000 acres worth of land looks like. Now, of that 25,000 acres worth of land, this is direct from OrlandoWeekly.com, as of 2010, 7,939 acres of that 25,000 was set aside for conservation areas. Roughly 1/3 of Walt Disney World property was set aside for conservation areas. Now, that same year, again, this is off of Orlando Weekly, that same year, a study was identified that 2,825 acres of that roughly 8,000, so less than 20% of the resort, was suitable for development. So of the 8,000 acres that was set aside for conservation area, roughly 2,000 of that was suitable for development. Now, remember, that is pretty significant. 2,825 acres was suitable for development back in 2010. And we just found out over the past 13 months, Walt Disney World has purchased roughly 2,700 acres. Disney, over the years, over the past few years especially, has announced some big projects. They just included a new resort, the Riviera, that opened roughly a year ago, and there are rumors and speculations of how many resorts will be coming in the future. So, what's Disney doing? Why are they purchasing all this land? I've kind of shot down the speculation or the idea of a fifth park being added to property. But, it's still a possibility in the future. You never know how far in advance Disney is planning and how, what they're planning on doing as of right now. You gotta, Disney's Disney. This could be 15 years into the future that they're planning and they're buying right now in order to prep for that. The one thing that I will say with absolute certainty is the fact that Disney has a strategy. Disney's not going to do something without having a strategic process behind what they're doing. Here is what certain blogs and people have already pointed out, and I kind of share this belief. They could be buying the property essentially to mitigate their existing property. So Disney has 8,000 acres worth of conservation area. And let's say that Disney wants to develop some of that. So they set aside a certain portion for conservation, and they don't want that percentage to go down. So right now, 33% of the property, remember, roughly 8,000 set aside for conservation of a total of 25,000 acres of land. So they're setting aside 1/3 of the property for conservation. They don't want that 33%, that 1/3, to go down. So what they can do is they can buy more land, so that now the land that they currently have, they can develop that land. So the land of what they're purchasing right now, it's kind of hard to follow. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. The land that they are purchasing right now, they just purchased in the past 13 months, roughly 2,700 acres of land. So they could say, okay, we're going to dedicate that 2,700 acres of land for conservation. Now, the 2,700 acres that we have on property that was declared suitable for development, we're going to develop that. So they exchanged 2,700 for 2,700. So now they're purchasing this land for 2,700 at a low cost right now because of what is happening in the world. So now they can dedicate that 2,700 for conservation. And the 2,700 that was dedicated for conservation but was suitable for development, now they can develop that because they have future projects that they want to come. They have future resorts that they want to spring up, so they can develop that in the future. It seems like that is kind of the likely scenario of what they're doing right now, because a lot of their construction has been put on hold. A lot of their construction workers have been laid off. So the speculation is up in the air on what Disney wants to do with it. That is, for you to decide your opinions. Hey guys, thanks for watching today. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for becoming part of Mickey's Inner Circle. If you want to permanently become a part of that inner circle, hit that subscribe button down below, because you won't want to miss out on future news and future updates, releases, reviews, refurbishments, anything going on Walt Disney World property. You want to hear it from the mouse himself first, so hit that subscribe button down below. Guys, we're trying to bring as much magic to you as we possibly can during this hard time. We wish you all the best, all the safety in the world, all the health for you and your loved ones. So until next time, see ya! In the storm.